What if happiness isn't something you find, but something you build? In a world obsessed with goals and noise, could ancient wisdom be the key to joy? What if laughter, gratitude, and love are more powerful than success or wealth? What if happiness isn't a destination you reach, but a way of walking through life? Not something you chase, but something you quietly build, breath by breath, step by step. In a world that shouts, more, faster, louder, the Stoics whisper, less, slower, deeper. They remind us that joy isn't found in the noise, but in the stillness beneath it. Not in what you gain, but in how you live, with gratitude, with love, with acceptance. Laughter becomes your shield, not your escape. Gratitude your anchor, not your obligation. Love your light, not your luxury. The storms of life will come, this is certain, but you can remain still inside. You can learn to meet each moment not with fear, but with clarity. And so this card arrives not with answers, but with an invitation to begin again, to breathe deeper, to find peace not out there, but right here, in this moment, in yourself. Stoic. Happiness and the power of laughter. In a world where we're constantly told that happiness lies just beyond the next achievement, the next purchase, or the next relationship, it's easy to feel like we're always chasing, but never arriving. We scroll through perfect pictures, hear motivational slogans, and yet feel disconnected. Everyone talks about happiness, but who truly shows us the way without selling a dream too good to be true? Today, we're stripping away the noise and diving deep into a truth that's been known for centuries, hidden in plain sight. Happiness is found not in what you gain, but in how you live. We'll explore how both modern psychology and ancient Stoic wisdom agree. Lasting joy is built on the foundation of simple, often overlooked choices. Laugh more, go outside, wake up with purpose, and yes, put the phone down. Let's begin this journey with a story that grounds these ideas in reality. Once, in a quiet valley surrounded by gentle hills and streams, lived a young man named Mark. From the outside, his life appeared perfect. He had everything one could want. A well-paying job, the latest gadgets, social recognition, yet deep down something was missing. A nagging emptiness lingered beneath the surface. One day, feeling more lost than ever, Mark decided to seek answers. His journey led him uphill, to a small wooden cabin, where an old man lived in quiet solitude. This man, weathered yet kind, invited Mark in. They spoke for hours about life, about longing, about meaning. Finally, the old man shared 3 principles that changed everything. Gratitude, acceptance, love. Mark was skeptical at first. Could happiness really be so simple? But the old man explained, gratitude teaches us to see the richness in what we already have. If we don't value our present, we'll never be fulfilled in the future. Acceptance grounds us in peace. Life has ups and downs. Fighting that truth only brings suffering. And love. Love makes it all worth it. Love for what we do, for the people around us, and most importantly, for ourselves. Mark took these lessons to heart. He started noticing the warmth of morning sunlight. He let go of trying to control every outcome. He embraced relationships with presence and kindness, and slowly something beautiful happened. The emptiness faded. His joy returned, not because the world changed, but because he did. His friends noticed. They asked, "What happened?" "To you?" Smiling, Mark replied, "Happiness isn't somewhere you go, it's how you walk." And now so can we. Before we dive into the first lesson, if you're finding this journey helpful, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's grow together. Lesson 1. Laugh more. Have you ever stopped to realize how serious we've made life? We wear our stress like a badge of honor, sprinting from one obligation to the next as if there's a competition for who can be the most overwhelmed. But in this high-stakes marathon of responsibility, we've forgotten one vital truth. Laughter heals. Science and ancient wisdom agree. Laughter is more than just a feel-good reaction. It's a survival tool. It lifts the weight of stress, lightens the heart, and even strengthens the body. Let's rewind to the Stoics, often portrayed as stern philosophers advocating for stone-faced discipline. But even they recognized the value of humor. Epictetus, known for his profound teachings on emotional resilience, once said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them." That insight, while serious, opens the door to something deeper. Your reaction shapes your experience. And laughter is one of the healthiest reactions we can choose. You see, laughter isn't a distraction from life's hardships, it's a tool for managing them. When we laugh, our brain releases endorphins and serotonin, creating feelings of happiness and reducing pain. At the same time, it lowers cortisol and adrenaline, the very hormones that skyrocket when we're stressed. This chemical shift acts like a biological reset button, bringing us back to balance. Picture life as a roller coaster, with twists and turns, climbs and drops. Laughter is your safety harness. It won't eliminate the ride, but it will help. You hold on with ease and even enjoy it. That's what laughter does for your soul. It steadies you, gives you perspective, and reminds you not to take things too seriously. Dr. Lee Burke from Loma Linda University studied laughter extensively. His research shows that even brief moments of genuine laughter can lower blood pressure, boost the immune system, and reduce the body's production of stress hormones. In other words, laughter isn't just momentary relief, it's a long-term investment in your well-being. And yet, many of us feel we don't have the time or the energy to laugh. Life weighs heavily, and the idea of finding humor feels distant. But that's exactly when we need it the most. So if you're struggling to find joy, start small. Watch a funny video. Reconnect with someone who makes you smile. Don't underestimate the power of lightness. Laughter doesn't mean you're ignoring problems. It means you're strong enough to face them with grace. And as we move forward, remember this. Happiness isn't a constant state. It's a practice. And like any practice, it begins with a single step. Let that step be laughter. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how ancient practices and psychological truths intersect, revealing how even the smallest habits can completely shift the way we experience life. So stay with us. The next lesson is waiting. Stoic mindset, laughter, and nature. Previously, we explored how happiness is not something we chase, it's something we cultivate. Through laughter, we saw how even in the heaviest moments, a single burst of joy can reset our spirit and help us rise above. But the journey doesn't end there. It deepens. Because life will continue to present us with situations we cannot control. And here's where the true strength of the Stoic mindset begins to shine. Stoicism, at its core, is about recognizing what lies within our power and what doesn't. We may not be able to change the events life throws our way, but we can always choose how we respond. Choosing laughter, even in difficult moments, isn't denial. It's strength. It's reclaiming control over your emotional world. Imagine being in a moment of frustration or sadness, yet pausing to laugh. Not because the moment is funny, but because you're refusing to let it define you. That's Stoicism in action. It's a conscious choice to find light in darkness. And the beautiful part? You don't need to be naturally humorous to do this. Laughter, just like gratitude or compassion, is a muscle you can strengthen. Studies have shown that even simulated laughter, like in laughter yoga or therapy, triggers the same feel-good chemicals as spontaneous laughter. That means even when joy feels far away, your body can still access it. In a study published by the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine, cancer patients undergoing laughter therapy reported lower depression, greater hope, and more resilience in facing their challenges. Pause and take that in. People facing one of life's most terrifying battles found relief in laughter. If they can, so can we. So how do we bring more laughter into our lives? It doesn't require grand gestures. You don't need the perfect joke or a stand-up special. Start small. Laugh at yourself when you spill coffee or misplace your keys. Laugh at the absurdity of a long line at the grocery store. Laugh at the silly memes your friends send, even if they're only mildly funny. Every time you laugh, you train your brain to release tension and refocus on the present. You give yourself a break from the relentless pace of negativity. Even if it's just for a few seconds, those seconds add up. They become your armor. Let's say you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. You have two choices: stew in frustration or surrender to the moment. Maybe put on a funny podcast, maybe remember a ridiculous memory. Laugh, not to ignore the problem, but to regain your peace. Laughter doesn't solve traffic jams, but it does solve the anger and helplessness that often accompany them. And that's more powerful than we realize. It's not just a reaction. It's a response. It's a choice. Even just a few minutes of laughter per day can strengthen your immune system, lower stress, and help you sleep better. So when life feels heavy, don't wait for happiness to knock. Go meet it with a smile, a chuckle, or a full-on belly laugh. Now, let's shift to another powerful but often neglected tool for inner balance: nature. Take a moment to reflect on your day. How much of it do you spend indoors? Screens glowing, artificial lights humming, the recycled air of offices and apartments pressing in. Modern life has made us efficient, but disconnected. Trapped in routines, we lose touch with the very world we were designed to thrive in. But here's the truth: humans are not meant to live apart from nature. For thousands of years, our well-being depended on sunlight, fresh air, and natural rhythms. Our bodies still remember. Our minds still crave it. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Stoicism teaches us to live in harmony with nature. Not just trees and rivers, but our own inner nature. When we align with the pace and patterns of the natural world, we slow down. We remember what matters. So how do we reconnect when life keeps us indoors? The answer is simpler than you think. Go outside, that's it. Step into the world. Whether it's a city park, a quiet trail, or even your own balcony, spend time with the sky above you and the earth beneath you. Science backs this up. Studies published in Environmental Health Perspectives show that just 20 minutes in a natural setting can significantly reduce cortisol, the stress hormone. Imagine that, just 20 minutes surrounded by green, by birdsong, by breeze, and your nervous system starts to reset. Even if you live in a concrete jungle or have a packed schedule, nature is still accessible. Take a walk around your block. Sit under a tree during lunch. Open your windows and let the sunlight in. These moments may feel small, but their effects are profound. Japan has a term for this: Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. It's the practice of immersing yourself in a natural setting. You don't have to meditate or hike miles. Just be present. Breathe it in, listen. Let your senses reawaken. You don't even need a forest, a local garden, a lake, a stretch of trees along the sidewalk. They all work. Your body responds to the sights, sounds, and smells of the earth. Your mind begins to soften. When was the last time you felt the sun on your face without rushing, or really listened to the wind, or noticed the delicate sway of leaves above your head? These aren't luxuries, they're nourishment. They're reminders of who we are. So the next time you feel anxious, drained, or disconnected, don't scroll. Step outside. Feel your feet on the ground. Look up. And remember, nature doesn't demand anything from you. It simply invites you to come home. And with that, we've explored two powerful steps on our Stoic path, learning to laugh through hardship and finding calm in the arms of nature. But our journey continues. Next, we'll uncover the quiet strength found in waking up early, rising not just with the sun, but with intention. Because how we begin our day shapes everything that follows. Ready for the next lesson? Let's keep walking. Nature's calm and the morning mindset. In our last chapter, we rediscovered something profoundly simple, how the natural world can reset us, lift us, and remind us that we're part of something bigger. That stepping outside isn't just about fresh air. It's about returning to a rhythm that grounds us. But the conversation doesn't end with a walk in the park. It deepens, continues, and reveals even more about how we can design a life of calm and purpose. Let's return to the stillness of nature for a moment. Imagine standing beneath a towering tree, its bark weathered, its roots deep, its branches stretching upward like open arms. That tree has witnessed storms, droughts, and decades of change, and yet it stands, unwavering. In its presence, don't your problems begin to feel a little smaller? A little more manageable? That's the gift of nature. It puts things into perspective. Nature has a way of grounding us. The Stoics understood this intimately. To them, nature wasn't just scenery. It was a teacher. Its seasons reminded them of the cyclical nature of life. Its silence taught them to listen. Its persistence encouraged patience, and its effortless flow showed that life, too, can unfold gracefully, if we let it. And beyond the philosophical, nature heals, literally. Stanford University research has shown that walking in green spaces can ease symptoms of depression, anxiety, and chronic pain. More than that, it reduces rumination, those looping negative thoughts that keep us stuck in mental storms. When you step outside, you don't just move your legs, you move your mind. Walking in nature is an act of resistance in a world that pressures us to hustle. It's a reminder that healing doesn't have to be complex. It can be as simple as putting one foot in front of the other while watching sunlight dance through the trees. Nature doesn't rush. It doesn't compete. And when we spend time in it, neither do we. So how do we begin reconnecting with nature, especially in busy cities or concrete suburbs? We start small. It might mean opening your window first thing in the morning and breathing in the crisp air. It might mean taking your lunch break outdoors, even if it's just sitting on a bench. It could be watering a plant, watching birds from your window, or walking to the corner store instead of driving. And the more you do it, the more you'll crave it. Suddenly, the sound of birds becomes noticeable, the light filtering through. The leaves feels poetic. The wind becomes a presence, not just a weather report. These tiny shifts create profound peace. Nature is not a backdrop to your life. It is life. And when you embrace that, you don't just reduce stress. You return to your center. Now let's move to another powerful habit, the mornings. Let's be honest, mornings get a bad rap. For many of us, waking up early feels like punishment. The blaring alarm, the blanket's warm pull, the tempting snooze button. It's a battle, and most of us lose. Modern life doesn't help. We stay up late, binge shows, scroll endlessly, trying to squeeze out every drop of me time before collapsing into bed. But what if we've been doing it all backward? What if waking up early isn't about sacrifice, but about sanctuary? The truth is, becoming a morning person might be one of the most powerful changes you can make for your well-being. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and philosopher, famously wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. He wasn't talking about labor. He was talking about purpose, about starting the day with intention. The Stoic mindset is clear. Mornings are not an obligation. They are an opportunity, an invitation to begin again with clarity. Science agrees. A study by the University of Toronto found that early risers tend to be more optimistic, proactive, and emotionally stable. They also enjoy better health, lower stress levels, and reduced risk of depression and obesity. Why? Because they align their life with natural rhythms. There's something sacred about the early morning. It's a time before the world wakes up. No notifications, no traffic, just stillness. That stillness is where power lives. It's in those quiet moments that you can breathe, reflect, plan, or simply enjoy a cup of coffee without the chaos. When you claim your mornings, you claim your day. You don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. to benefit. Start small. Set your alarm. Just 15 minutes earlier than usual. Go to bed slightly earlier. Watch how your body adjusts. Then add more time as it feels natural. With each morning you rise early, you're not just waking up. You're stepping into your day with presence. You're saying, I will lead this day, not follow it. And there's more. Waking up early isn't just about having more time. It's about having your time. Before the demands, before the world intrudes. It's a space for journaling, stretching, walking, meditating, or doing nothing at all. Your mind is clearest in the morning. Use that clarity. It's your superpower. And here's the best part. It gets easier. As your sleep adjusts to your natural circadian rhythm, waking up feels less like a chore and more like a calling. So tomorrow morning, before the sun rises fully, before the world starts rushing, rise. Even for a moment, even just to breathe. Because in that stillness you are no longer reacting to life, you are living it. And as we've now seen, from laughter to nature to the dawn of each new day, happiness isn't far. It's quietly waiting in the choices we make. Up next, we'll explore something you carry with you every second of every day, your phone, and how learning to disconnect just might be the next key to unlocking inner peace. Are you ready to unplug and reconnect? With yourself, let's continue. Mornings and purposeful planning. As we've seen, early mornings offer something rare in today's noisy world: clarity. They are an open invitation to slow down, to think, to begin your day on your own terms. But what exactly do you do with all that extra time when the world is still asleep? That's where the transformation begins. Those quiet morning hours are not just empty space, they're sacred. This is the time to pour energy into the parts of your life that often get buried beneath the chaos of the day. Maybe it's exercising, reading, writing, meditating, or simply sitting in silence. The Stoics believed in the power of morning reflection, a moment to return to self and check in with your soul. Seneca once wrote, "The mind must be given relaxation. It will rise improved and sharper after a good break." What better time than the morning to give your mind space to sharpen? When you wake up early, you open a portal to peace, to insight, to the kind of intentional living that most people only hope for. And here's a secret. Mornings become far easier when there's something beautiful to look forward to. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It might be the quiet joy of a warm breakfast, a walk under soft morning light, or diving into a favorite book while the world still slumbers. When you give yourself a reason to rise, the alarm becomes a reminder of reward, not obligation. Yes, mornings can be rough at first. You may feel sluggish, groggy, or tempted to roll over and stay in bed, but stick with it. Over time, your body begins to adapt. Your mind becomes clearer, and you start to feel in control of your schedule, your energy, your day. The most powerful reward? Time. Time to breathe. Time to think. Time to create space for what truly matters before the noise of the world rushes in. And there's a practical benefit too. Early risers get a head start. You can tackle important tasks, handle problems calmly, and start the day with confidence. You're no longer playing catch-up. You're leading. You're in a proactive mindset, ready, prepared. Becoming a morning person isn't about perfection. It's not about waking at 5 a.m. every day or following a rigid routine. It's about creating space for what you love. It's about saying yes to life. One quiet morning at a time. Mornings. They arrive in silence, with the gentle glow of dawn spreading across the sky, marking the end of darkness and the beginning of potential. And yet, for many of us, the early hours are met with resistance. The alarm clock beeps like a summons to duty, dragging us from the comfort of our beds. It's tempting, so tempting, to hit snooze, to delay the inevitable, to return to the warmth of sleep and forget that the day awaits. But in those quiet, often underappreciated hours, there lies an opportunity. The Stoics, ever conscious of time's fleeting nature, saw mornings not as a burden, but as a gift. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, once wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work as a human being.'" He saw the morning as the moment to realign with one's purpose, to rise, not just physically but spiritually and mentally, ready to meet the responsibilities of life. Becoming a morning person is not about forcing yourself into rigid schedules or denying rest. It's about reclaiming the first moments of the day with intention. When we wake early, not for obligations but for ourselves, we gift ourselves time. Time to breathe, to reflect, to move, to plan, and to prepare. It is in this stillness that clarity is born. The Stoics prize discipline and self-control, and mornings are their natural training ground. The world is quiet. Distractions are few. This sacred silence allows us to focus uninterrupted on what matters most. Whether it's a walk beneath the soft morning light, a few moments of meditation, or journaling thoughts with clarity before the day's noise sets in, these practices set the tone. We emerge into the day not reacting but acting, with poise, purpose, and peace. Science too supports the Stoic view. Research consistently shows that early risers tend to be more proactive, optimistic, and productive. A study from the University of Toronto revealed that those who rise early report greater life satisfaction, better health, and stronger emotional resilience. The reason is simple. When you greet the day on your terms, you step into it empowered. But the magic of mornings doesn't lie in the hour on the clock. It lies in the mindset. It lies in choosing to begin your day before the demands begin. It's about starting with self-respect. And this in turn transforms how we engage with every hour that follows. So, what do we do with these morning hours? We use them, not to catch up, but to ground down. We use them for purposeful planning. Just as a ship sails straighter when charting its course, our days become more meaningful when we enter them with intention. Purposeful planning is not about cramming the schedule with relentless tasks. It is about clarity. The Stoics taught us to value what is essential. To waste time is to dishonor life. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Planning is a way of honoring time. It is the act of stepping back and saying, "This is what matters. This is what I choose to focus on." Imagine approaching your day like a craftsman at a workbench. You don't begin by grabbing tools and hammering wildly. You pause, assess, and decide what needs to be done, what can wait, what aligns with your values, what brings growth. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, which also means living in accordance with our deeper nature, our sense of purpose. Start with your mornings. Use them to reflect. What would a good day look like? What actions would bring me closer to the person I wish to become? What can I do today with the hours I have that will leave me feeling fulfilled when I lie down at night? This isn't about perfection. There will be days when the plan goes awry, when interruptions hijack the schedule, when nothing goes as intended. The Stoics knew this too. They taught us not to be rigid but resilient. A plan is not a prison, it is a direction. When detours come, we adjust, we bend, we adapt. But we do not drift. We do not lose ourselves to chaos. Because we began the day anchored. Structuring our time with purpose does not mean sacrificing spontaneity. It means creating space for what matters, space for rest, space for connection, space for deep work, and space for joy. It means treating time as the precious, irreplaceable resource that it is. For time is not money. Time is life. When we pack our days with intention, not just with tasks, we create lives that feel lived. There is a richness in knowing that the hours we spent were chosen, not consumed. There is power in looking back on a day and knowing, I showed up for what mattered. And so we return once more to the morning, that quiet threshold between sleep and waking, between dreaming and doing. Each morning is a doorway, and behind it, a life waiting to be lived with clarity, purpose, and peace. To live like a Stoic is not to deny life's pleasures or press yourself into cold discipline. It is to welcome each day like a sculptor greets marble, with reverence, with vision, with determination. The chisel is your attention, the hammer is your discipline, and each day you shape yourself anew. Rise early, plan with purpose, live intentionally, for in these simple acts happiness finds a home. Now let's look at another vital habit, planning your days with purpose. Ever noticed how some days feel like they vanish in an instant while others drag endlessly? It's strange, isn't it? But here's the truth. How we use our time shapes our experience of time. We've all had those slow weekends that blur together with nothing memorable. And we've had action-packed days that, though full, leave us feeling energized and fulfilled. So what makes the difference? It's not about being constantly busy. It's about filling your time with meaning. The Stoics, especially Seneca, warned about the danger of wasting time. On the Shortness of Life, he wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Time to the Stoics was our most precious resource. Not money, not fame, but time. And once it's spent, we can't get it back. So how do we invest it wisely? The answer lies in intention. Packing your day with purpose isn't about creating a packed schedule of chores and meetings. It's about choosing activities that align with your values, activities that bring joy, build growth, deepen relationships, or restore your soul. Think of your time as a bank account. Each morning you receive 24 hours. You can spend it wisely, invest in what matters, or let it slip through your fingers. Some people hoard time by doing nothing, believing they're resting. But rest without purpose can leave you feeling more drained than before. Others fill every moment with busy work, but arrive at the end of the day unfulfilled. The Stoics would urge a different approach. Use your time to strengthen your body, expand your mind, and connect with those you love. Be deliberate, be wise. Modern research backs this up. Studies in the Journal of Experimental Psychology show that people who plan their days, set goals, outline their priorities, report higher happiness and a greater sense of control. Why? Because purpose gives direction. When you know what you want to accomplish, you stay focused, motivated, fulfilled. But let's be clear, this isn't about turning your life into a rigid checklist. There must be room for spontaneity, for moments of rest, for joy. Overplanning can lead to burnout. Underplanning leads to regret. The key is to find that balance. Purposeful planning means crafting a life you're excited to live. It means making time for what matter. Time, plans, and persevering with passion. In the previous chapter, we learned how waking up early can unlock quiet hours of intention, time to reflect, to grow, to live with purpose. Now, let's dive deeper into how we use that precious time, and how our approach to planning, perseverance, and passion defines the kind of life we lead. One of the most effective ways to structure your time is by breaking your day into meaningful chunks. The Stoics were masters of this. They believed that when we divide our day with thoughtfulness, we can channel our energy into what matters most. Start your morning with your most important tasks, when your mind is clear and your focus is strong. Later in the day, create space for creative work, meaningful connections, or even moments of rest. This balance helps you stay productive and fulfilled without slipping into burnout. To build momentum, try setting small, achievable goals. These don't have to be monumental. A walk, a thoughtful call to a friend, or reading for 20 minutes, each small victory adds to a greater sense of progress. These moments may seem simple, but they carry weight when they align with your values. The Stoics saw each day as a fresh opportunity to grow. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At day's first light have in readiness against disinclination to leave your bed the thought, I am rising for the work of man." In other words, every day is a new chance to be better, not through grand leaps, but by taking thoughtful, consistent steps. And still, life rarely goes as planned. There will be days when schedules fall apart, when the unexpected crashes in. That's okay. One of the most beautiful aspects of Stoic philosophy is its call for flexibility. Adaptation is not failure, it is strength. When things go sideways, take a breath. Look at what time you have left and ask, what can I still do with this? At its heart, packing your days with purpose isn't about busyness, it's about mindfulness. It's about ensuring your time reflects what you truly care about. Take a moment now. Reflect on how you've been spending your days. Are they rich with meaning or drifting in distraction? Remember, time is the currency of life. Waste it and it's gone forever. Use it with intention and life begins to bloom. Marcus Aurelius said it best, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And that leads us to the next Stoic lesson. Don't quit on what you love. How many times have you wanted to give up on something that once brought you joy? Maybe it was a passion project, a dream job, or a hobby you loved as a child. Somewhere along the way it got hard. Life got busy. Doubt crept in. But walking away from something you love isn't just about losing a pastime. It's about disconnecting from one of the greatest sources of happiness you have. The Stoics were very clear about this. Perseverance is not optional, it's essential. Life is filled with hardship. Challenges are not anomalies, they are the fabric of existence. And fulfillment comes not from avoiding struggle, but from rising through it. Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do, not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." His message, courage is born from action, and love, real love for your craft, your mission, your passion, is worth fighting for. So why do we give up? Most often it's not because we've lost interest, it's because we've lost belief. Progress feels too slow. The results don't come fast enough. In a world of instant rewards, patience feels like pain. But here's the truth. Anything truly meaningful takes time. It takes effort. It takes resilience. The Stoics would tell us that the path to greatness is rarely straight. It's filled with obstacles, and that's exactly why you must keep going. The more resistance you face, the more opportunity you have to grow. Think of something you stuck with, even when it got tough. Maybe it was learning an instrument, writing a story, building a business, or training for a race. There were moments of doubt, times you wanted to quit but you didn't, and because of that you grew. You became stronger, more patient, more disciplined. Perseverance shapes us. It teaches us to push through pain, to rise when we fall, and to commit to our deeper purpose. There's science behind this too. Research from the Journal of Positive Psychology shows that people who engage in passion-driven activities experience greater life satisfaction, lower stress, and a stronger sense of purpose. Why? Because when we pursue what we love, we tap into intrinsic motivation. We're not chasing applause, we're chasing alignment. That kind of motivation doesn't fade when things get hard. It burns brighter. But we forget. We get caught in the belief that if something is hard, it must not be right. The Stoics reject that. They believe the obstacle is the path. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles are not signs to stop. They are signs to transform. They force us to adapt, to grow, to strengthen the muscles of our character. So how do we keep going? How do we hold on when things feel impossible? Start by remembering your why. Reconnect with what drew you to this path in the first place. What made your heart light up? What made you feel alive? Because when you remember that, really remember it, quitting becomes harder. Not because the struggle disappears, but because the love returns. And love paired with discipline is unstoppable. As we close this chapter, take a deep breath. Think about the thing you almost gave up. Now ask yourself, what if I keep going? And as we move into the next lesson, we'll explore how loving what you do, whether it's your work, your craft, or your everyday life, can become a source of strength, not strain. Let's keep walking. Reignite passion and choose kindness. As we continue our journey through Stoic wisdom and intentional living, we return to a deeply human truth. Sometimes the spark that once fueled our passion dims under the weight of daily struggles. But when you pause and reconnect with that initial excitement, when you remember why you started, clarity returns. It's easy to get lost in the grind, caught up in the frustration of slow progress or unmet expectations. But take a moment to look deeper. That joy you once felt for your craft, your mission, your dream, it's still there, buried beneath the surface. When you realign with that joy, it becomes easier to persevere through the difficult parts. Progress doesn't always appear in grand, visible ways. Often, it's invisible. The Stoics taught us to focus not on outcomes, but on effort. We cannot always control success, but we can control how we show up. Think of your passion like a tree. In its earliest days, nothing shows above the ground. But deep beneath the surface, roots are spreading, quietly building a foundation. In time, that invisible effort bursts forth into something strong and unshakable. Your effort today might not yield immediate rewards. That doesn't mean it's wasted. It means you're building. Still, there will be moments, many of them, when quitting feels like the easier path. When exhaustion sets in and you question your ability. But in those moments, ask yourself honestly, if I walk away now, will I regret it? The answer more often than not is yes. The things we love tend to linger. Even if we leave them, they don't leave us. They sit in the back of our minds, whispering, what if? The Stoics believed that this kind of regret, abandoning something meaningful, is more painful than the discomfort of persistence. When overwhelm strikes, zoom in. Break your mountain into pebbles. What's one small action you can take today? Write a paragraph, practice for 10 minutes. Make one meaningful move. Progress lives in these moments. In these small wins, momentum builds, energy returns. Doing what you love is a privilege. Not everyone has the opportunity. If you do, protect it, nurture it, The Stoics didn't believe life was only about surviving. They believed in thriving, in growing, learning, becoming better. That kind of growth only happens when we stay the course, even when it gets hard. Seneca reminds us, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Dare to keep going. Because when you do, you'll discover that the joy on the other side far outweighs the struggle. And now, another timeless lesson: go for kindness. In a world that moves quickly, where stress runs high and people are often absorbed in their own worlds, kindness can feel like a forgotten virtue. But the truth? Kindness is not weakness. It is one of our greatest strengths. The Stoics were firm believers in this. Marcus Aurelius, a warrior emperor, once wrote, "Kindness is invincible, but only when it's sincere with no hypocrisy or faking." True kindness doesn't come from trying to look good. It comes from a real desire to do good. You see, when you choose kindness, you choose power. No one can take it from you. And even the smallest act, a kind word, a helping hand, a smile, can have a ripple effect far greater than you realize. Kindness is contagious. Smile at a stranger, compliment a co-worker, offer help to someone struggling. These moments multiply. The kindness you give often returns to you in unexpected ways. And there's science behind it. Studies show that kindness not only benefits the receiver, but also the giver. Engaging in kind acts boosts mood, reduces stress, and can even improve physical health. At UCLA, researchers found that people who regularly practice kindness report increased happiness and stronger relationships. Those who receive kindness feel more connected and grateful, both of which contribute to lasting well-being. But what's even more powerful is this: kindness is a habit. Anyone can build it. The Stoics believed we're all part of a larger human community. Epictetus said, "We are all brothers and sisters by nature. Our bodies and souls are bound together by a shared divine spark." This reminds us that kindness isn't reserved for people we like. It's for everyone, even strangers, even those we disagree with. So how do you begin? It starts with awareness. Notice your interactions. Are you brushing people off in haste? Are you speaking with sharpness instead of softness? Pause, redirect, choose kindness, even when someone is rude, even when you're stressed, even when it feels easier to retreat. Because kindness, when given freely, transforms not only the world, but also your own heart. As we close this chapter, remember this: kindness is strength, passion is power, and both, when practiced with purpose, lead to a life rich in peace, connection, and meaning. Next, we'll explore how simplicity, letting go of excess and embracing the essentials, can further guide you to tranquility. Are you ready to simplify your life and uncover its true richness? Let's continue. Reignite passion and choose kindness. As we continue our journey through Stoic wisdom and intentional living, we return to a deeply human truth. Sometimes, the spark that once fueled our passion dims under the weight of daily struggles. But when you pause and reconnect with that initial excitement, when you remember why you started, clarity returns. It's easy to get lost in the grind, caught up in the frustration of slow progress or unmet expectations. But take a moment to look deeper. That joy you once felt for your craft, your mission, your dream, it's still there, buried beneath the surface. When you realign with that joy, it becomes easier to persevere through the difficult parts. Progress doesn't always appear in grand, visible ways. Often, it's invisible. The Stoics taught us to focus not on outcomes, but on effort. We cannot always control success, but we can control how we show up. Think of your passion like a tree. In its earliest days, nothing shows above the ground, but deep beneath the surface, roots are spreading, quietly building a foundation. In time, that invisible effort bursts forth into something strong and unshakable. Your effort today might not yield immediate rewards. That doesn't mean it's wasted. It means you're building. Still, there will be moments, many of them, when quitting feels like the easier path. When exhaustion sets in and you question your ability. But in those moments, ask yourself honestly, if I walk away now, will I regret it? The answer, more often than not, is yes. The things we love tend to linger. Even if we leave them, they don't leave us. They sit in the back of our minds, whispering, what if? The Stoics believed that this kind of regret, abandoning something meaningful, is more painful than the discomfort of persistence. When overwhelm strikes, zoom in. Break your mountain into pebbles. What's one small action you can take today? Write a paragraph, practice for 10 minutes. Make one meaningful move. Progress lives in these moments. In these small wins, momentum builds, energy returns. Doing what you love is a privilege. Not everyone has the opportunity. If you do, protect it, nurture it. The Stoics didn't believe life was only about surviving. They believed in thriving, in growing, learning, becoming better. That kind of growth only happens when we stay the course, even when it gets hard. Seneca reminds us, it is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Dare to keep going, because when you do, you'll discover that the joy on the other side far outweighs the struggle. And now, another timeless lesson. Go for kindness. In a world that moves quickly, where stress runs high and people are often absorbed in their own worlds, kindness can feel like a forgotten virtue. But the truth? Kindness is not weakness. It is one of our greatest strengths. The Stoics were firm believers in this. Marcus Aurelius, a warrior emperor, once wrote, "Kindness is invincible, but only when it's sincere with no hypocrisy or faking." True kindness doesn't come from trying to look good. It comes from a real desire to do good. You see, when you choose kindness, you choose power. No one can take it from you. And even the smallest act, a kind word, a helping hand, a smile, can have a ripple effect far greater than you realize. Kindness is contagious. Smile at a stranger, compliment a co-worker, offer help to someone struggling. These moments multiply. The kindness you give often returns to you in unexpected ways, and there's science behind it. Studies show that kindness not only benefits the receiver, but also the giver. Engaging in kind acts boosts mood, reduces stress, and can even improve physical health. At UCLA, researchers found that people who regularly practice kindness report increased happiness and stronger relationships. Those who receive kindness feel more connected and grateful, both of which contribute to lasting well-being. But what's even more powerful is this. Kindness is a habit. Anyone can build it. The Stoics believed we're all part of a larger human community. Epictetus said, "We are all brothers and sisters by nature. Our bodies and souls are bound together by a shared divine spark." This reminds us that kindness isn't reserved for people we like. It's for everyone, even strangers, even those we disagree with. So how do you begin? It starts with awareness. Notice your interactions. Are you brushing people off in haste? Are you speaking with sharpness instead of softness? Pause, redirect, choose kindness. Even when someone is rude, even when you're stressed, even when it feels easier to retreat. Because kindness, when given freely, transforms not only the world, but also your own heart. As we close this chapter, remember this. Kindness is strength. Passion is power. And both, when practiced with purpose, lead to a life rich in peace, connection, and meaning. Next, we'll explore how simplicity, letting go of excess and embracing the essentials, can further guide you to tranquility. Are you ready to simplify your life and uncover its true richness? Let's continue. Kindness, saying yes, and digital presence. In the previous section, we embraced kindness as a strength, an intentional choice that shapes not only the world around us, but also the world within. Now we turn to how small acts, open-hearted decisions, and deliberate disconnection can profoundly change the quality of our lives. We've all had moments where we felt rushed, overwhelmed, or simply irritable. In those times, kindness can slip away unnoticed, replaced by impatience or sharp words. But the Stoics invite us to pause, to breathe, to become mindful of how we show up in the world. When someone cuts you off in traffic or snaps at you in the store, your instinct might be anger. But imagine what happens if you smile instead, or choose to let it go. That small act of restraint isn't weakness, it's power. A Stoic power, a choice, kindness, when practiced consistently, transforms us. And it's most meaningful when it's sincere, not about appearances but about presence. As Marcus Aurelius said, kindness is invincible if it is sincere. You don't need grand gestures. Hold a door, help a neighbor, send a message of encouragement. These small acts become habits, and those habits become a life, even science agrees. Kindness releases oxytocin, what researchers call the love hormone. It lowers blood pressure, eases stress, and builds trust. The more we give, the more grounded we feel, and gratitude often follows. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." That opportunity is always within reach, no matter your mood or circumstance. But let's be clear, kindness isn't about being a doormat. The Stoics valued strength, boundaries, and self-respect. Kindness comes from a place of dignity, not weakness. It's a quiet form of courage, an unshakable resolve to be a force for good even in the face of tension or disrespect. And that brings us to another powerful Stoic lesson. Say yes more often. When was the last time you declined something, not because it didn't serve you, but because it made you uncomfortable? Perhaps it was an invitation to a party, a new project, or a chance to try something new. Fear or habit said no, but the Stoics remind us that life is not meant to be shielded from, it's meant to be lived, fully. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And saying yes is a reaction rooted in curiosity and courage. No, it doesn't mean saying yes to everything. Boundaries still matter. But if you always say no out of fear, out of doubt, out of comfort, you shrink the shape of your life. Say yes to the awkward gathering, the challenging project, the weekend hike, the unknown. Growth rarely happens inside our comfort zones, but on the other side of discomfort is discovery. Even science supports this. Studies show that novelty, trying new things, boosts dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. Saying yes literally makes you happier. It rewires your mind for excitement, resilience, and joy. Relationships thrive when you say yes. Time with family and friends becomes richer. You make memories you'd never have made by staying in. Sure, some experiences may flop. You might try something and fail. But even in failure, you learn something new. You expand your understanding of yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look." So next time something invites you outside your norm, pause. Ask yourself, what could I gain from this? What might I learn? And say yes. And finally, we must talk about presence. In today's world, our phones are never far from our hands. They buzz, chirp, and glow, stealing attention, scattering focus. Before we know it, hours vanish. The Stoics didn't have smartphones, but they understood distraction. Seneca said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." That's the cost of digital overload. When we are always half present, we are never truly present. Our phones bring convenience and connection, yes, but at what cost? The cost is attention, presence, peace. Studies in behavioral psychology have linked excessive smartphone use to increased anxiety, depression, and poor sleep. We scroll and refresh, looking for something to fill the silence. But silence is where clarity lives. The solution? Radical but simple. Turn off your phone sometimes. Reclaim your moment. Let your brain reset. Talk with someone face to face. Look at the trees. Read without interruption. Eat without scrolling. Disconnect to reconnect. Being present is a gift. It brings us back to what matters. The real, not the virtual. Kindness, courage, openness, presence. These are the tenets of a Stoic life. And in the next section, we'll explore one final key. How simplicity can unlock deep, lasting peace in a world that constantly calls us to more. Are you ready to clear the clutter and come home to what really matters? Let's continue. Digital disconnection and the value of rest. The previous chapter showed us how saying yes to life can open doors to unexpected joy, connection, and growth. But just as we must say yes to the world, we must also learn to say no to the noise and reclaim stillness. In a world overflowing with notifications and endless scrolling, our minds are under siege. The pressure to stay connected, to always be online in the loop available, can quietly erode our sense of peace. But there's a powerful remedy. Turn it off. Yes, it really is that simple. By intentionally disconnecting from your phone, even for a few minutes, you gift yourself something truly rare: uninterrupted presence. This is your time, pure, uncluttered, and whole. Time for reflection, time for creativity, time to just be. Think of it as a digital detox, not to escape the world, but to re-enter it more grounded. Let's be clear, technology is not the enemy. Smartphones are incredible tools that offer connection, access, and convenience. But the Stoics remind us, use what is helpful, but don't let it use you. It's about control, and Stoicism is, above all, a philosophy of self-mastery. So take charge of your screen time. Start by creating simple rituals. Turn off your phone during meals. Put it away while you talk to loved ones. Power it down before bed. These small shifts invite you back into the present, where life actually happens. You'll be amazed at how much peace lives in those tech-free moments. You may even begin to crave them. Want to take it further? Try scheduling phone-free blocks in your day, 15 minutes, an hour, even longer. Use this time to walk outside, write in a journal, read, or simply sit in stillness. These quiet pauses are where your mind finds its rhythm again. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." But first, we must unplug long enough to reach it. Even your relationships improve when you disconnect. Imagine talking to someone who keeps checking their phone. It sends a message, "You're not my priority." That message can damage even the strongest bonds. But when you put your phone away, you send a different message. "I'm here. I'm listening." This act of presence deepens trust, strengthens connections, and turns conversations into meaningful experiences. Science backs this up. A study in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that even the presence of a phone can diminish the quality of an interaction. So imagine what happens when it's completely out of sight. And beyond presence, there's productivity. It's a myth that multitasking makes us more efficient. In truth, jumping between your phone and a task drains energy and lowers performance. Every time you shift your focus, your brain has to recalibrate. By silencing the ping of distraction, you give yourself the ability to dive deep into your work, and that's where your best ideas live. Then there's sleep. One of the greatest disruptors of modern rest is the blue glow of screens. That light tricks your brain into staying alert, making it harder to fall asleep and decreasing the quality of your rest. Turning off your phone. 30 minutes before bed allows your mind to unwind, your body to settle, and your sleep to deepen. This one habit can transform your nights and your days. In short, choosing to disconnect even for small moments is a radical act of self-care. The Stoics believed that mindfulness, clarity, and self-control were the keys to living well. By turning off your phone, you practice all three. It's not about rejecting technology. It's about reclaiming your power to choose how and when you use it. So next time the screen demands your attention, take a breath. Put it down. Step outside, look around, be here. You might just discover how deeply satisfying the present moment can be. And now, let's shift to another timeless truth. We must also rest. We've all heard it. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's cliché, yes, but also true. In our relentless drive to succeed, we've turned busyness into a badge of honor. But what if rest isn't weakness? What if stepping away is what helps us move forward? The Stoics believed in resilience, yes, but also in renewal. Seneca often wrote about the value of leisure, not laziness but intentional recovery. He believed that rest nourishes the soul, that stepping back gives us the strength to step forward again with clarity and purpose. Taking breaks, whether it's a moment of silence, an afternoon walk, or a weekend getaway, is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And in the next section, we'll explore why traveling, unplugging, and recharging your spirit through movement and exploration might be the most stoic decision of all. Are you ready to discover the restorative power of rest? Let's keep going. Rest breaks and the wisdom of renewal. In our previous segment, we explored the power of disconnecting from constant digital noise, a simple act that restores our clarity and reconnects us to what truly matters. Now, we turn to something equally profound and often undervalued in our culture of hustle: rest. Seneca, the great Roman Stoic, once described the joy of otium, the Latin word for restful leisure, not as laziness, but as a sacred space where the soul can breathe. He wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In other words, slowing down isn't neglect, it's nourishment. Yet many of us feel guilt at the thought of resting. We've been conditioned to believe that productivity is the highest virtue and that every idle moment is a wasted one. But the truth is, rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's a vital part of it. Let's begin with the small, simple breaks in our day. Research shows that the human brain isn't built for endless focus. After 90 minutes of intense work, our cognitive function begins to decline. This is where short breaks become essential, not interruptions but enhancements. 5 to 10 minutes to step away, stretch, breathe, or walk can reset our minds, improve focus, and renew our energy. And it's not just about mental sharpness. Breaks improve mood, reduce stress, and increase creativity. A study from the University of Illinois confirmed that even brief pauses can maintain performance and stave off fatigue. Add in light movement like a short walk or some fresh air, and the benefits multiply. The Stoics would wholeheartedly approve. To them, honoring the needs of the body and mind was a key aspect of living in balance. They believed that restoration was as important as exertion. It was not indulgence, it was wisdom. But we must go deeper. Beyond daily pauses lies the greater need for true retreat. Vacations. These are not just luxuries, they're necessary resets for your spirit. Removing yourself from your routine, even for a weekend, allows your nervous system to recalibrate. The burdens of daily life lift. Your mind becomes free to explore, reflect, and simply be. Research in the Journal of Happiness Studies found that vacations improve well-being, reduce stress, and even enhance productivity when we return. And the benefits don't vanish overnight. Those who take regular breaks and vacations tend to have higher life satisfaction, lower stress levels, and more resilient minds. The Stoic emperors understood this. Even Marcus Aurelius, burdened by the weight of the Roman Empire, took time to retreat into nature and solitude. He wasn't running from duty. He was preparing to meet it with renewed strength. This is the essence of the Stoic mindset. Rest is not retreat. Rest is preparation. So how can you bring this wisdom into your life? Start small. Schedule micro breaks. Into your day. A walk after lunch. 5 minutes of silence between meetings. A breath before your next task. These may seem like minor pauses, but over time they accumulate into a stronger, steadier rhythm. And don't wait for burnout to plan your next trip. Build time for getaways into your year, even short ones. A weekend road trip, a few days in the mountains, a staycation with a digital detox. The goal isn't escape, it's renewal. Travel also opens your mind. Exposure to new cultures, landscapes, and ways of living enriches your perspective. The Stoics encourage the expansion of the mind through observation and experience. Through travel, we don't just rest, we grow. But remember, not all of us can take long breaks. That's okay. The Stoics taught that quality matters more than quantity. A short mindful pause can be just as powerful as a week-long vacation if we are present. So next time you feel overwhelmed or overstretched, don't push harder. Step back. Breathe. Let stillness be your strategy. In a world that glorifies the grind, choosing rest is a radical act of strength. The Stoics knew it. Science proves it. Now you can live it. And as we prepare for the next reflection, remember, true renewal begins not with escape, but with intention. Let's move forward, rested, restored, and ready for what comes next. Stoic happiness, when to step back and recharge, that's the essence of true wisdom. By taking breaks and going on trips, you're not just pausing life, you're actively investing in your long-term health, happiness, and productivity. Remember, taking a break isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you're committed to living a balanced, fulfilling life. Hang out with friends and family. In the pursuit of success, personal growth, and happiness, it's easy to forget one of life's most essential ingredients, relationships. Whether it's sharing a meal with family, catching up with old friends, or meeting new people, the connections we cultivate are what give life its deepest meaning. Yet in our fast-paced world, these connections are often the first to be neglected. We get busy, distracted, and mistakenly assume there will always be time to reconnect later. The Stoics understood the profound value of human connection. While they championed self-control and inner peace, they also knew that humans are deeply social beings. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them then or bear with them." This belief in mutual support reveals how central community and relationships were to living a good life. Spending time with loved ones brings joy and a sense of belonging that no amount of success or material wealth can replicate. Numerous studies support what the Stoics knew intuitively. Strong social ties lead to greater happiness, better mental health, and even longer lives. A landmark Harvard study found that close relationships, not wealth or fame, were the strongest predictor of a happy and healthy life. Those with strong family and community bonds reported lower stress, fewer health issues, and a longer lifespan. But it's not just about having people in your life. It's about nurturing those bonds. Seneca, another great Stoic, once said, "There is no enjoying the possession of anything valuable unless one has someone to share it with." Whether we're celebrating or struggling, sharing those moments with others gives them greater meaning. In today's busy world, relationships can easily slip through the cracks. We put off phone calls, cancel plans, or tell ourselves we'll catch up later. But time is fleeting. The Stoics urged us to remember memento mori, that life is short and each moment is precious. That includes making time for the people who matter most. Nurturing your relationships doesn't require grand gestures. Start with something simple. Call a friend, invite your family over for dinner, or write a heartfelt message to someone you appreciate. It's not about how much time you spend, but the quality and sincerity of that time. Another key to stronger relationships is presence. In an age where digital distractions are ever present, it's easy to be physically with someone but mentally elsewhere. The Stoics taught that true presence, being fully engaged in the moment, is essential for living a good life. When you're with loved ones, set aside your phone, listen deeply, laugh freely, share openly. These simple acts build deeper bonds. Of course, relationships come with challenges. Even with those we love, there will be misunderstandings and conflicts. The Stoics remind us that while we can't control others' actions, we can control our response. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on approaching others with patience and empathy, knowing everyone is struggling in their own way. That doesn't mean tolerating poor behavior. Boundaries matter, but it does mean choosing compassion over resentment whenever possible. It's also about giving, not just receiving. Helping others, whether through a kind word, a favor, or simply showing up, enriches our lives as much as theirs. As Epictetus taught, we are all connected by a divine spark. When we uplift others, we honor that shared humanity. So how do we bring this Stoic wisdom into our daily relationships? Begin with small, meaningful efforts. Be present. Be patient. Be kind. Reach out, even when it's inconvenient. Prioritize people over tasks, and when conflicts arise, meet them with understanding rather than judgment. In the end, relationships are not just part of a fulfilling life, they are the very heart of it. The Stoics knew that a life lived in harmony with others is a life rich in meaning, peace, and joy. So make the call, send the message, share the moment. Because in nurturing your relationships, you're not just building connections, you're building a legacy of love and wisdom. Ready for the final chapter? Let's continue this journey. Start by making time for the people who matter. Reach out, make plans, and show up, whether it's for a quick coffee with a friend or a long phone call with a family member. Prioritize these moments because they're the ones that will stay with you long after the workday is over or the project is complete. And when you're with others, be present. Listen, engage, and appreciate the connection you're building in that moment. In conclusion, relationships are at the heart of a happy, meaningful life. The Stoics understood this, and modern science confirms it. While it's important to focus on personal growth and individual achievements, it's equally important to invest in the people around you. Friends and family bring joy, support, and richness to life that can't be found anywhere else. So make time for them. Nurture those relationships, and remember the Stoic principle that we are all here to help and support one another. As Seneca wisely said, there is no enjoying the possession of anything valuable unless one has someone to share it with. Help others out. There's a simple truth that often gets overlooked in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Helping others is one of the most powerful ways to find fulfillment and happiness. Whether it's offering a kind word, lending a hand to someone in need, or giving your time and energy to support a cause, acts of kindness don't just benefit the recipient, they also enrich the giver. The Stoics believe that one of the greatest purposes of life is to contribute to the well-being of others. Modern science backs this up with numerous studies showing that people who help others are generally happier, less stressed, and more satisfied with life. Known for their focus on self-discipline and personal responsibility, The Stoics never promoted isolation. They emphasized the interconnectedness of all people, teaching that we have a duty to help one another and contribute to the common good. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee." This metaphor illustrates how our individual well-being is inseparable from that of the community. Helping others gives us a sense of purpose. It shifts our focus from ourselves to those around us. That doesn't mean our own struggles vanish, but the act of helping gives us perspective. Often we realize that our problems aren't as overwhelming as they once seemed. Research supports this. Studies show that people who regularly engage in acts of kindness or volunteer work experience lower levels of stress and anxiety. The American Psychological Association found that helping others, formally or informally, is strongly linked to greater life satisfaction and mental health. This is because helping activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals that reduce stress and boost mood. To the Stoics, virtue was the highest good, and one of the most virtuous things you can do is serve others. Even small acts of kindness count. Seneca spoke of the power of little things, listening, offering advice, or being patient with others. These moments ripple outward, improving lives and fostering compassion in communities. Think about when someone helped you. A kind word, a hand when you needed it, a smile. These memories stay with us. Now imagine being that source for someone else. Helping others is more than charity, it's a Stoic duty. It fulfills your role in the broader community and aligns with the core values of service and compassion. Just remember, helping others doesn't mean forgetting yourself. The Stoics believed in balance, be generous and kind, but take care of your own well-being too. Stoic lessons on helping others and practicing gratitude own needs. You can't pour from an empty cup, as the saying goes. In fact, helping others can be more fulfilling when you're in a good place yourself. When you're rested, healthy, and mentally strong, your capacity to serve others becomes not just sustainable but joyful. This is why the Stoics often spoke about the importance of self-care as the foundation for serving others well. So how can you start helping others in a way that aligns with your life and values? It doesn't have to be complicated. Often, the smallest actions carry the greatest weight. Start by looking around. Your everyday life is filled with opportunities to offer kindness or support. Check in on a friend, lend a hand to a neighbor, or simply pay closer attention to the needs of those around you. The Stoics believed in mindfulness, being fully present, and that includes being present enough to notice when someone else is struggling. Don't wait for the perfect moment to make a big difference. Look for the small, simple ways to contribute every day. These moments, when done with sincerity, ripple out far beyond their size. Volunteering is another deeply fulfilling way to help. Offer your time or resources to a cause that matters to you. Support a local food bank, mentor someone just starting out in your field, or contribute to a charity that reflects your beliefs. These acts of service don't just help others, they give you purpose and a meaningful connection to something greater than yourself. The impact of helping others stretches far beyond the immediate moment. Like a stone cast into still water, acts of generosity create ripples that extend far and wide. One act of kindness can inspire another, and then another, spreading positivity throughout communities, across cultures, and even through time. This kind of chain reaction is what the Stoics considered essential to the human experience. We are all in this together, and by lifting each other up, we build a stronger, more resilient society. In conclusion, helping others is not merely an act of charity. It is a way of life, a path toward fulfillment, connection, and purpose. The Stoics knew that the measure of a life well lived is not only in personal success, but in the good we do for others. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. So look for opportunities, big or small, to serve others. You may find that in doing so, your own life becomes richer than you ever imagined. 12. Focus on the good stuff you've got. It's all too easy to fall into the trap of wanting more. We live in a culture of constant comparison, where social media shows us a never-ending parade of things we don't have. Fancier vacations, better jobs, shinier cars. We become fixated on what's missing instead of appreciating what we already possess. But the Stoics offered a radical and refreshingly simple perspective: gratitude. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In other words, it's not about having everything. It's about recognizing the value of what's already yours. Gratitude shifts your focus. It teaches you to see the blessings that surround you: the roof over your head, the food on your table, the kindness of a friend. These everyday things, though easily overlooked, are the cornerstones of a meaningful life. When you embrace this mindset, dissatisfaction loses its grip on you. So why is it so hard to focus on what we have? Because our brains are wired to detect problems and gaps. This evolutionary instinct once kept us alive, pushing us to find better shelter or food. But in today's world, it often fuels chronic discontent. That's where gratitude comes in, not as a denial of hardship, but as a deliberate recentering of attention. Practicing gratitude is not just feel-good fluff, it's grounded in research. Studies from the University of California show that people who keep a gratitude journal sleep better, report fewer physical symptoms, and feel more optimistic. Gratitude literally changes your brain chemistry, reinforcing pathways that lead to joy rather than stress. The Stoics believed that gratitude should be a daily discipline. Marcus Aurelius frequently reflected on the gifts of life: waking up, the warmth of the sun, the chance to face another day. He urged us to appreciate the little things, not because life is always easy, but because beauty and meaning exist even in difficulty. A powerful way to build gratitude is through mindfulness. Slow down, pay attention, hear the sound of birds. In the morning, feel the sun on your face, savor the taste of your coffee. These small pleasures become sacred when you notice them. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day is another easy but effective practice. Over time, this habit retrains your mind to seek the good, even in adversity. And it's not just about things, it's about people too. Expressing thanks to loved ones deepens your bonds and cultivates warmth in your relationships. Even in tough times, gratitude can be a refuge. Epictetus taught that every difficulty is also a chance to grow. Rather than cursing a challenge, ask yourself, what can I be thankful for here? Perhaps it's resilience, perspective, or a lesson learned. Gratitude, then, is not just about comfort, it's about power. It gives you the strength to stay grounded, hopeful, and open-hearted. It transforms scarcity into sufficiency and rush into presence. In closing, remember this: true wealth is not found in accumulation, but in appreciation. Focus on the good stuff you've got. See it, feel it, celebrate it. You already have so much. Don't let the noise of the world convince you otherwise. Stoic happiness and the power of laughter. A final reflection. In a world that races endlessly toward more success, more noise, more possessions, we find ourselves forgetting the ancient wisdom that whispered of something far simpler: happiness within. We've spent hours together, page after page, walking alongside the Stoics, and now we arrive not at an end, but at a beginning, a return, a quiet turning inward. What did Marcus Aurelius see as he stood beneath the Roman sun, watching the weight of the empire pass before him? What did Seneca write in the silent corners of his exile? What did Epictetus teach, bound not by chains, but by discipline of the soul? They taught that happiness is not a gift delivered by fortune, but a flame kindled by choice. Not loud, not fleeting, but silently radiant, like laughter rising unexpectedly from the stillness of a quiet heart. The power of laughter, the Stoics knew, is not frivolous, it is revolutionary. To laugh in the face of adversity is to rebel against despair. It is the embodiment of resilience. When we laugh, we choose perspective. We choose not to be ruled by our reactions, but to be free within them. Nature, too, became our teacher. It reminded us of rhythm, of pace, of patience. We returned to the woods, the wind, the warmth of the sun on our skin. We remembered that no tree grows in haste, no river questions its path. We were reminded that we, too, are nature, and in returning to it, we returned to ourselves. We found strength in mornings, those quiet hours when the world is still asleep and only the soul is awake. There we carved out intention, set the tone of our lives before chaos could. The early riser does not just wake up to the world, they wake up to purpose. We packed our days with plans, not to overwhelm, but to fill time with meaning. We learned that time, our most precious currency, should be spent not in passive consumption, but in active creation. We planted intentions like seeds and watched them grow into a garden of fulfillment. We clung to what we loved. We refused to let go. In a world that rewards quick wins and immediate results, we remembered that the most beautiful things take time. Passion is not a fleeting flame, but a fire that asks for tending. Kindness was not weakness, but a force of strength. In a hardened world, to be kind is to remain human. It is to extend grace when the world forgets it. It is to offer light in places grown dim. A kind heart is invincible, for it asks nothing and gives everything. We said yes more, to life, to discomfort, to the unknown. We stopped shrinking from challenge and started leaning into it. Not every yes was easy, but every yes was a step toward growth. We turned off our phones. We tuned into life. We broke our addiction to distraction and embraced the clarity of the present moment. In silence, we heard ourselves again. We rested. We paused. We learned that rest is not retreat, but renewal. In stepping back, we stepped deeper into awareness. The break is sacred. It is where resilience is born. We return to those who matter, our friends, our families, our communities. The Stoics reminded us that man is not made to be alone. We are meant to connect, to love, to lift each other up. We helped, we served, we reached out not because we were asked, but because it was right. The joy of giving is not in reward, but in the act itself. And we gave thanks for what we had, for the moment, for the breath, for the fight. Gratitude was no longer a list, but a way of seeing. It transformed scarcity into sufficiency. Finally, we let go of grudges, of wounds, of ghosts from the past. We released what was heavy so we could walk forward lighter, clearer, freer. These were the teachings, these were the moments, this was the journey, and it brings us here, to this breath, this thought, this choice, to be joyful, not because life is perfect, but because we choose to rise within it. To be wise, not because we know all the answers, but because we seek the right questions. To be strong, not in our silence of emotion, but in our mastery of response. This is the essence of Stoic happiness. It is laughter, echoing in the face of adversity. It is the stillness before sunrise. It is a hand extended in kindness. It is a pause, a plan, a purpose. It is the courage to say yes. It is the strength to say no. It is the grace to let go. And so, dear friend, as you close these pages and walk back into the world, carry this with you. You are not at the mercy of the world. You are the master of your inner realm, and from that mastery happiness flows. Like the Stoics before us, may you wake each day with calm purpose, act with compassion, laugh with lightness, and sleep in peace. The flame is already within you. Tend to it, live, laugh, and be free. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this message brought you even a moment of clarity, welcome to the channel. We're just getting started. See you in the next chapter. And until then, stay grounded, stay grateful, stay stoic.